Breaking free from the shackles of fear and doubt is an ongoing journey of self-discovery and inner strength that begins with acknowledging these invisible chains. Often we are not even aware of how much they bind our actions, thoughts, and aspirations, turning potential opportunities into missed opportunities. These chains whisper to us about possible failures, inability to cope with difficulties, judgments from others, creating an invisible but tangible wall of prejudices and self-limitations around us. This process of overcoming an inner barrier is not an instant action, but rather a long-term, multi-step work on yourself that requires deep awareness, patience, and an unwavering willingness to face your deepest fears and accept them. This is seeing unlimited greatness. The first step on this path is to recognize these chains. Many people live their lives without noticing how fear and doubt dictate their choices, shape their reactions, and determine the limits of their ambitions and potential. They may explain their inaction by external circumstances, lack of resources, or lack of suitable opportunities, while the real root cause very often lies in internal resistance and hidden fears. Recognizing that these feelings control your life is an absolutely critical moment, a kind of breakthrough in consciousness. It is akin to turning on a bright light in a previously pitch-dark room, where until that moment only vague shadows and unclear, frightening outlines reigned. Such an act of recognition allows you to clearly see and identify the mechanisms that hold you captive, and to understand their nature. After the stage of deep awareness, the stage of detailed analysis and self-reflection inevitably follows. It is extremely important to deeply understand where exactly these fears and doubts come from, what their true roots are. Very often they are rooted in the past, in traumatic or simply unpleasant events, such as painful criticism from significant adults in childhood, major failures that left a deep emotional mark, or repeated disappointments, childhood impressions, family attitudes, and unconscious scripts, dominant social norms and cultural stereotypes. All this together forms our individual belief system, many of which, unfortunately, can be deeply limiting and counterproductive. For example, if a person was regularly harshly criticized for the slightest mistakes as a child, he may well grow up with a subconscious, deep-seated fear of making a mistake, which will later paralyze him in situations that require decisiveness, spontaneity, or even just creativity. Or if his immediate environment constantly instilled in him the idea of his inability to do something, this deep doubt can become so ingrained that it becomes a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy, preventing him from even trying new things. It is extremely important to always remember that fear, in its basic, primordial form, is not our absolute enemy. On the contrary, at its core, it is a vital instinct for self-preservation, designed to warn us of real dangers and threats to our well-being. The problem and dysfunction arise when this natural and useful instinct becomes excessive and starts to work in situations that in fact do not pose any real threat, being only a figment of our overactive imagination. This happens when our mind, fueled by anxiety, begins to draw in our imagination pictures of all sorts of disasters based not on objective reality, but on irrational, far-fetched fears. The main task in such a situation is not to completely eradicate fear, which is essentially impossible and even harmful, but to learn to effectively manage it, subtly distinguish between reasonable fears and completely fictitious ones, and, most importantly, not to allow it to dominate our decisions and life in general. Practical steps toward true liberation inevitably involve a consistent and methodical confrontation with one's fears. This process can and should begin with the smallest, seemingly insignificant steps, gradually but surely increasing the difficulty of the tasks set before oneself. For example, if a person has a strong fear of public speaking, he or she can begin by practicing in front of a mirror, then move on to speaking in front of one or two of the most trusted friends or family members, then in front of a small but supportive group of like-minded people, and only then, when inner confidence has strengthened, go out to a larger and more demanding audience. Each successful overcoming of even the smallest barrier will steadily strengthen your self-confidence and simultaneously weaken the stranglehold of fear. It is extremely important to celebrate and acknowledge even the smallest victories and steadily record your progress, no matter how slow it may seem. Reframing and actively challenging negative thoughts plays an absolutely key role in this process. Fear and doubt are very often fueled and reinforced by constant negative internal dialogue. We tend to focus exclusively on the worst-case scenarios, exaggerate potential risks, and systematically underestimate our own abilities and resources. Mindfulness practice, regular meditation, and cognitive restructuring technique can be invaluable in this regard. When intrusive negative thoughts arise in your head, you should actively challenge them by asking yourself constructive questions. How realistic is this thought? What objective evidence exists to support this fear? Zrenia, what is the best possible outcome in this situation if I try? Actively replacing negative and limiting beliefs with more positive, realistic, and expanding ones, gradually, step by step, changes our attitude to new challenges and difficulties. Instead of the destructive, I will never succeed, the constructive, I will do everything possible to succeed, and I believe in myself. Instead of the paralyzing, I'm afraid, the courageous, I feel some anxiety, but I am ready to try, no matter what. Your immediate environment also has a significant, sometimes decisive influence on your ability to overcome. The people we interact with on a daily basis can either feed our fears and doubts, multiplying them, or, on the contrary, inspire us, charge us with positive energy, and give us the strength we need to overcome them. It is extremely important to seek out an environment that is supportive, sincerely believes in your potential, and actively encourages you to constantly develop and grow. This does not mean that you should completely avoid contact with people who are prone to negative thinking or pessimism, but it is imperative to be aware of their potential influence and in no case allow their skepticism or disbelief to become part of your own internal attitude. Having mentors, coaches, or simply close friends who have already successfully overcome similar difficulties and obstacles can be an invaluable source of inspiration, practical advice, and moral support on your path. Continuously developing skills and increasing your own competence also significantly contributes to reducing doubts and increasing confidence. The more we know, the deeper our knowledge and the better we can do something, the fewer objective reasons there are for self-doubt. Constant learning, active acquisition of new knowledge, regular practice of practical skills and abilities not only open up new, exciting opportunities for us, but also significantly increase our self-esteem and self-worth. When we feel competent and prepared, doubts naturally recede, giving way to unshakable confidence and determination. An equally important aspect is the acceptance of one's own imperfection and the realization that mistakes are a completely natural and integral part of any process of learning, growth, and development. Fear of possible failure often turns out to be much stronger and more destructive than the failure itself, if it happened. Liberation from shackles includes deep acceptance of the fact that we will inevitably make mistakes, that this is absolutely normal, and that each mistake is, in fact, a valuable lesson and an opportunity for deep analysis and further improvement. Instead of beating yourself up over your mistakes or shortcomings, you should view them as valuable sources of information and opportunities for personal growth. Cultivating self-compassion is a powerful tool in combating the inner critic that constantly feeds our doubts and insecurities. Finally, the key element of the whole process is clear goal setting and continuous systematic movement towards them. When we have a clear and inspiring vision of what we want to achieve in life, it gives deep meaning to all our efforts and undertakings. Even the smallest but consistent steps towards these goals help to effectively break the chains of inaction and procrastination, which are so often generated by fear and doubt. Regular visualization of your success, constant reminder of your cherished dreams and ambitious goals create a powerful, inexhaustible motivational impulse. This allows you to direct the enormous energy that was previously wasted on fruitless worries and anxieties to constructive, creative actions leading to the realization of what you want. Liberation from the shackles of fear and doubt is not a final destination, but rather a continuous process of self-improvement and constant expansion of your own boundaries. This is a journey that gives invaluable experience, deep lessons, and opens doors to new, previously unimaginable opportunities and horizons. It is a path to a life full of meaning, courage, determination, and true freedom, where every challenge, every difficulty is perceived not as a threat, but as a unique chance for deep personal growth and development. It is a journey in which you become not just a passive observer of your own destiny, but also its active, conscious creator.
If you'd like to support the channel and help us keep pushing forward, there are links in the description where you can donate. Every contribution helps us reach more people, do more good, and keep this mission alive. There's also a store down below where you can grab something for yourself, or even better, a gift for someone you care about. It's a simple way to spread love and let someone know they matter. We're all just trying to grow, to become better, to rise above the noise and step into who we're really meant to be. And I truly believe change is possible, the kind of change that creates a ripple effect and helps others see the beauty still left in this world. This channel is about real growth, real transformation, and I'm here to give you a front row seat to what that looks like. Raw, honest, and grounded in purpose. God is within all of us, and my goal is simple: to reflect that light as clearly and powerfully as I can, for you and for the world around us.